Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. We're going to make some cheese puffed pastry. Now this is sort of a takeoff on the little Greek cheese pastry. I don't know the name of that, but this is sort of a takeoff on that, a quick and easy way to do it. I think they make theirs with the phyllo dough, and I've done that before, and it's very hard. And it takes a lot of time. So using the puffed pastry just makes everything go a lot quicker, and the taste is pretty close to the same. So first thing we're going to do is mix up the little inside part that's going to go in the puff pastry. Now this is a puff pastry I use. I don't know if there's any other brand or not. I've just always bought this brand. So we've got that already thawed out, and it's at room temperature now, or really kind of still a little cold, okay? All right, here's going to be the filling. All right, let me get you in closer. There. All right. Now, this is an 8-ounce pack of just Philadelphia brand cream cheese, and I softened that in the microwave. Now, not to the point where it's melting, but it's just really at room temperature. Now I'm going to add to that 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and again I just use the kind that you get in Walmart, and this is, you know, not the fresh Parmesan, but I really actually like this better. For one thing, it's saltier. Alright, so we're just going to use 1/2 cup or so of this. And I'm going to put that in and mix that with my cream cheese. Now this is going to help it, the filling inside the little cheese puff to hold together too, because I've used the dried Parmesan cheese. Alright, now that's good enough. Okay, now for the top of the pastry and to seal the pastry, we're going to use an egg wash. So this is 1 large egg and 1 tablespoon of water, and you just beat it up, and it's pretty much at room temperature. Now I'm just going to take out 1 tablespoon of this mixture, add it right to my little cheese mixture. Alright, now I'm going to add the spices. I'm going to use a little bit of just regular paprika. It's maybe 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm going to use probably maybe 1/2 to a whole teaspoon of garlic powder. It's probably closer to a teaspoon. And my favorite, I'm going to use dill weed just for color. Now this adds a distinct taste, one that I absolutely love, so I would encourage you to try this. Now dill is what you put on fish and stuff like that, but it goes really well with this also, plus gives it a little color. So that's about maybe a teaspoon of dill weed. Gives it a little bit of color. Now that little bit of egg mixture is going to help hold this cheese together when it's cooked. So just going to mix all that up as best you can. And again, you want to have your cream cheese, you know, at room temperature, so it mixes really well. Alright, now the puff pastry, I'm sure if you've used it, you already know this, but if you've never used puff pastry, it comes with 2 ready-to-bake sheets. So we're just going to use one of those, and the other I just wrapped in saran wrap and put back in the refrigerator, because I'm going to go ahead and make some more after I make these. Now again, this is just my version of that little, you know, it's actually a little Greek pastry. In fact, years ago, well, it wasn't really too many years ago, we used to go out a lot on Saturday night to a Greek restaurant that was in a large town close to us, and it was called the Elite Epicurean. And it was owned really by the same family for many, many years. And behind the restaurant on the side street, they also had a little fish market where you could get fresh fish, which was really good. So anyway, we used to go there to eat many, many times on Saturday night. In fact, they always put us in the same little booth, and We usually always had the same little waitress. We got to know her really well. She was a college student. Anyway, they would serve these little Greek pastries. As soon as you came in and they had seated you, they would bring out the little dish of pastry. I think there were about 6 on there, and bring your water and get your drink orders. And of course we would sit there and eat every one of those before our salads even came, but they were delicious. So this is sort of my copy of what we used to get at that Greek restaurant. All right, now we're ready to roll out our pastry, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of flour on this little sheet that I roll out my pastry on. And I'm going to just go ahead and put some on my rolling pin also. Now we're going to just only roll this out just a little bit, and then we're going to cut it up. So you want to very carefully, probably better to put it down at the bottom, and very carefully unroll it. Now it's completely thawed out now. In fact, you know what? It's absolutely too thawed out. So what I'm going to have to do is roll it out. Hey, mistakes happen, okay? What I'm going to have to do is roll it out completely because it's too thawed out. So we'll just do that now. Roll it out to about the width of this little sheet I'm working on. Now, has this ever happened to me before? Absolutely. I mean, you get busy doing stuff and the thing gets too thawed out, and then it sticks together and won't come apart. So we'll just roll it all out. There's all kinds of recipes that you can use for this puffed pastry, and one of the ones is I make apple turnovers sometimes with this pastry when I've got really good apples. Otherwise, I just buy the kind in the store that are already fixed for us. All right, we're going to see if we can work with this now. Rolling it out. Now, it's not exactly square, but that's okay too. So if I can make it a little more square. Now again, the caution here is to go ahead and get your dough out and don't let it get too thawed out. You know, you want it still really cold. Even though this is cold, it's still stuck together. So, no big deal. All right, now what we're going to do is just simply, let me back you off a little bit here. We're just going to simply cut this in half. Cut it in half again. And then cut those pieces in half once more. Right. Now, I'm going to take about a teaspoon of the filling and just go ahead and place it right in the middle of each little square. Now you'll want to bake these at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And you want to do that on parchment paper, or you can do it, you can place them on a greased cookie sheet. Either way works out fine. All right, now we've got our filling all there. Have to wipe the little grease off my hand, or the little filling. All right, now we're ready. We're going to use our egg wash and a pastry brush, which I really hate to use these because they never come clean, but this is kind of what you have to do. So just put a little egg wash all the way around each little square. There's a little bug. Get out there. All right. Just go ahead and put the egg wash right around them, because you want the edges to stick together. All right, now, so we got 8 cheese puffs. Right now, I'm going to just push these over to one side. And on a separate sheet, I'm going to just pull it up off of the little sheet and roll it over. Now these are going to be sort of oblong. Now if I do a sweet pastry using the puff pastry, I make them in triangles. If it's not going to be sweet, I use little oblong or squares sometimes. Now I'm just going to mash this together with my fork all the way around. Now I've also mashed all the air out of it. Now I'm just going to roll it up a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to just do the fork again. And I'm not going to put any air vents in it or anything like that. I'm going to take it up and just put it on the cookie sheet, space them out a couple of inches, and I'm going to go ahead and fix the rest of these and we'll be back. Alright, I have gotten my little cheese puffs all put together, and now we're just going to use a little egg wash on the top of them, and this is just to make them a little more, you know, brown, a little prettier really. So I'm going to bake these at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to check them. Now, your oven might be different than mine. You know, after 20 minutes, if they're not, you know, completely puffed up and brown, then you'll need to cook them just a little bit longer. Now, my videos are never edited, okay? Never. So, we're going to do the next set of the next sheet of the puff pastry, and we're going to do it the right way. And even though this was too thawed out when I started working with it and I had to roll it out, the next one I've got it cooling in the bottom of the refrigerator, and we're going to do that one the right way. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you this so that you know that even when you make a mistake, these still turn out delicious. Alright, when these get done, we'll be back. Alright, here we are, and they had to cook for about, I actually cooked them about 25 minutes because I had to re-roll the pastry, but you can see even when they fail, they turn out well. Now, you want to remove them from the pan and place them on a little cooling rack. And you want to make sure no one eats these until they cool, because the filling is very, very hot. And they would definitely burn their mouth if you let them eat them before they cooled a little bit. Alright, so these were the puff pastry that, you know, I really messed up on them because I let the pastry get too much at room temperature before I started on them. So we're going to set these aside, and we're going to make some more the right way. Now I put the second puff pastry back in the bottom of the refrigerator to really cool, and we're going to roll this out a little bit, and we're going to make the second batch. Alright, here it is. I'm going to take it out of the saran wrap. Now each package comes with 2, so you'll have plenty. So now we're going to unroll it. Let's see how much easier it comes apart when it's cold. And I do think these were really fresh is the reason I had a little trouble with them. So I'm going to put some more flour on them, and I'm going to roll it out a little more. Not much, but a little bit. And again, it's very cold now. Now you can make it, these little cheese puffs without even rolling it out anymore, but they're going to be very, very puffy if you do that. All right, so now we're going to divide it in half again. Just cut it with a sharp little knife. Go in half again. I'm going to go each one of those in half again. Now with puffed pastry, it's really kind of hard to fail. And as you saw, we got another little bug flying around here. He's flying around the light. All right, I'm going to fill these on one end. So these will be a little different shape. Again, it's about a heaping teaspoon. There's that little bug. He wants some of this cheese, I think. Go away. All right, we're just about to use all of our filling. So that filling should be enough for at least 16 little cheese puffs. All right, now this time we're going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to get rid of the pastry brush, and I'm just going to use my finger. I'm just going to go around each little edge with some of the egg wash mixture. And this is so they'll stick together. Now these work really well as an appetizer, you know, if you're having guests over for dinner, or just, you know, for your family. And I promise you, kids love them, adults love them, and sometimes you'll have someone who just can't get enough. So I would plan on 3 for each person, and if you have someone who really likes them, they can probably eat 5 of them. Now we're going to have these today not as an appetizer, but as the bread to go with our vegetable soup. All right, we've got each one of them with a little bit of egg wash. And now we're just going to take the long end and fold it over on each one of them. And again, my dough now is still cold. All right. Now we're going to work on them. So we've got an assembly line going. So we're going to mash out the air all around. It's almost look like little raviola. Mash it all around with your fingers. Now, to make sure that they don't leak, because you don't want them to have one that leaks and some of the cheese comes out. So we're just going to take a fork, dip it in a little flour, and just go all around the edge. Now you don't have to pierce them to let out any of the steam. I'm just going to mash it down kind of flat. That's what they're going to look like. So I'm going to place them on a little pan with some parchment paper. And I'm going to finish doing the rest of these. Let me do one more and show you. Alright, so we've mashed the air out. I'm going to take my fork, dip it in a little flour, and just mash the edges together. Now remember, you have put a little bit of that egg wash in there, so that's going to work as the glue that holds the sides together. Just going to mash it down a little bit. There you go. Alright, I'm going to fix the rest of these and we'll be back. Alright, we're back and we've completed these. And I'm going to put just a little bit of an egg wash on them. And again, that will make them brown up really pretty and make them a little bit more appealing. Now you can put butter on them, and I've done that before. Alright, now I'm going to bake these in my oven at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. Now your oven might not take but 20 minutes, and you do want to check them. You don't want to overcook them or let them get too brown. Alright, we are ready to put these in the oven. When these get done, we'll be back. Alright, we're back, and our second batch of cheese-filled puff pastry are ready. Alright, so we're going to take these off the baking sheet and put them on a little rack to cool. Now these are going to be very, very hot, and you really don't want anyone to eat any of these until they cool somewhat. Otherwise, they're going to burn their tongue and the inside of their mouth. Now these are my normal puff pastry. Those are the ones that I had to kind of re-roll out the pastry dough, and it's pretty flexible. Even when you mess up, they turn out pretty well. So these are the rounded ones, and these are the square ones. Now this is normally the way I make them. Alright, I'm going to taste of one of these right over here and see how they are. Great. Very good and flaky. Alright, I'm going to show you the recipe and we'll see you next time. Okay, here's the recipe for the cheese puff pastry. I can't talk because I've got puff pastry in my mouth. Okay, you want to bake them at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. And of course you'll use the pack of the Pepperidge Farm puff pastry. And there's the filling. Now on that little egg wash, I just dip out a big tablespoon of that and put it in the mixture. Now you can use whatever spices you want, but I would strongly suggest you definitely use the garlic powder because it really enhances the taste. Alright, there's the puff pastry, and this will make 16 little puff pastries. And there's 8 ounces of cream cheese, and there are the spices I used, and the only other thing was the egg wash. And again, there's a picture of them. Alright, we'll see you next time.